Well, this is the Urban Debate on Magicbricks Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. Appalling visuals coming in of violence against policemen in Mumbai. In our continued campaign for better working conditions for our police officers and constables, we demand again that the government take swift action and react faster to what we are now seeing on camera. Our top headline tonight, a shocking attempted murder caught on camera as 4 young men in Mumbai booked for trying to drown a policeman. This is the 4th such incidence of violence against Mumbai's men in khaki in the last 15 days. And in Karnataka, there are protests across the state. The Karnataka government abides by the Supreme Court order and releases water to Tamil Nadu. Now, pro-Kannada activists say that there will be a massive statewide bandh on the 9th of September. And tough talking in the Supreme Court. Sink or die, but refund money. That's the Supreme Court as it tells real estate companies to pay back their customers. It wraps Supertech on the knuckles for project delays. I'm going to go straight to some news that's just coming in, taking a cue from airlines Ola and Uber. Now the Ministry of Railways has introduced surge pricing in long-distance trains. These fares will initially be applicable on the Rajdhani and the Shatabdi trains. The fares will increase by 10% for every 10% of seats that are booked on the trains. The surge fares, however, will be capped at 1.5 times the base fare. Tatkal tickets will also be charged at 1.5 times the base fare. The new system will be rolled out starting the 9th of September, that's Friday this week, will not be applicable on tickets already booked on these trains. Well, let's focus now on our big debate tonight. Shocking footage has emerged from Kalyan in Maharashtra, not very far away from Mumbai, where one more Maharashtrian cop has been attacked. Footage shows a gang of young men attempting to drown a policeman. The appalling footage on your screen right now shows a man dragging a police constable into the pond during Visarjan in an attempt to drown him, while 3 other men are seen cheering him on. Now, the whole trouble started at a place by the Ganpati immersion site on Tuesday. The police have in fact arrested those 3 young men. From what we understand, that constable that you can see on your screen right now, whose life is currently in danger, was trying to maintain order in that tank to make sure that people who wanted to use the tank for Visarjan stood in line and did all of that in an orderly manner. I want to also point out the rest of the people, the huge crowd around that tank who simply stood and watched while that policeman was battling 3 people and had absolutely no arms other than a lathi to help him out. In fact, those 3 young men have been arrested. Kajal had filed this report for us earlier today.
This is the exact spot where the youngsters had an altercation with the policeman who was trying to do the Visarjan here in this small pond. Yesterday was the 1.5-day Ganpati Visarjan. An altercation broke out and one youth tried to dunk the cop's head inside this water. This is the Jarimari Trust, and the idol was right here, and we're told that these are members of the Jarimari Trust itself that had tried to attack the cop. The cop eventually did manage to overpower that youngster, and he did bring him back to the banks of this pond. But even then, 3 other youths also joined. Now we hear that the police here has already registered a case against 4 young men, but the people around here not willing to really say anything. Most of them denying a Visarjan ever took place here. Some of them denying that any of their members were part of this entire incident. Somewhat a sense of fear has crept into the locals here who do not want to talk about the entire incident. But yes, considering that the youngsters did try to take law into their own hands, a police case has been registered against 4 youths.
Well, Kajal also spoke with Nitin Dagale, who is the police officer we're seeing being attacked right now, to ask him exactly what happened. Listen in.
We have with us Nitin Dagle, the cop who was dunked into the Visarjan pool by 4 youngsters in the Jarimari Mandal. मुझे बताइए कि एग्जैक्टली क्या हुआ था उस दिन रात को, क्या हुआ था?
तो विसर्जन की जगह वो बजा रहे थे बाजा भाई, उनको बोला आगे बजाओ पीछे बजाओ, तुम उधर मत बजाओ, विसर्जन हो रहा है, कुछ भी अनुचित प्रकार कर सकता है। तो उधर से उनसे बातचीत हुई, उसके बाद उन्होंने विसर्जन करना बंद कर दिया। कोई विसर्जन नहीं करेगा इधर, किसी गणपति का विसर्जन नहीं होगा। लोग बाप्पा लेके आ रहे थे, वहाँ रखे थे बाप्पा, कुछ अनुचित प्रकार घट सकता, विटंबना हो सकती थी, इसके लिए मैंने उनसे बोला, नहीं, उन्होंने नहीं सुना। फिर बोला जो भी है खुद का बाप्पा खुद विसर्जित कर सकता है वो करो, ऐसा मैंने बोला। तो वो बोले कोई नहीं अंदर आएगा, तो बाप्पा नीचे रखे, तो मैं वो ही करने का, वो सडनली उनसे बातचीत, उन्होंने मेरे को पानी में ढकल दिया और मेरे को डुबाने की कोशिश की। बाद में हमारे वरिष्ठ साहब आए, उन्होंने हमको बुलाया, हम उनके साथ गए और जो 4 लड़के हैं उनके खिलाफ गुना दाखिल किया है।
सिर्फ आपका ही मुद्दा नहीं है, पूरे राज्य में बहुत सारे पुलिस वालों पर हमले हो रहे हैं, तो क्या पुलिस जो डिपार्टमेंट है उसमें एक तरह का थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन, थोड़ा सा डर या कुछ पैदा हो गया है?
वैसा हम नहीं बोल सकते, हमारा काम है, हमारी ड्यूटी करना पड़ता है हमको, हम ऐसा कुछ बोल नहीं सकते। हमको जो ड्यूटी दी है वो हमारा निभाना काम है, चाहे जिसमें जो भी हो सके उनका हमको पूरा ही करना है। जो जिम्मेदारी हम पे जनता की सेवा करना वो हमारा काम है, जिसमें हम कुछ हुआ तो हमारे वरिष्ठ अधिकारी हमारे साथ रहने वाले, ऐसा मेरे को विश्वास लगता है।
एक और आखिरी सवाल, मंडल वालों का आरोप है कि आप ही पहले से गुस्से में थे और इसी वजह से ये सब कुछ आगे आया।
मंडल वालों को अगर ऐसा कहना है, वो तो विसर्जन कर रहे थे, और बजाने वाले तो फिर बजाने वाले को और विसर्जन करने का संबंध क्या है? मेरा कहने का मतलब है, तो तुमने वो इश्यू पैदा किया, आप लोग जनता को ये रखते, प्रेशराइज रखते। अगर बाप्पा का विसर्जन नहीं होता इसका मतलब तुम जनता को ये करके रखते हो ना, रोक के रखते हो। कुछ भी हो सकता है, विटंबना हुई तो सुपीरियर ऑफिस उधर, मैं वो सुपरविजन ऑफिसर, जिम्मेदारी किसका है? मेरा है।
We know for the fact that police inspector was attacked yesterday by a group of 4 people. So over the course of one day, what has been the investigation so far, and how many arrests have been made already with regards to this case?
About this incident, Kolsewadi Police Station has registered an offence under section 307, 332, 353 IPC. There was an altercation between the police officer, police personnel, and some activities of Ganpati Mandal over the PT issue. Our officer tried to convince them, but they were not ready to listen. And all of a sudden, one of them pushed our officer into a tank and tried to kill him there. So this was the incident, and we have registered a case against them. And we were hunting today for the accused persons. And we have arrested 3 accused persons. One more is likely to be arrested very soon.
In fact, reacting to those repeated attempts on police officers and constables in Mumbai, Shiv Sena Supremo Uddhav Thackeray was seen accompanying a delegation of concerned family members of police officers to meet the Chief Minister today.
आप सभी जानते हैं कि पिछले कुछ दिनों में पुलिस पर हमले दिन ब दिन बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। क्या चल रहा है, कौन कर रहा है, किसी ने भी करने दो, लेकिन उसकी सजा उसकी मिलनी चाहिए और तुरंत मिलनी चाहिए। साथ ही उनकी कुछ बाकी भी सवाल थे, समस्या थी। एक अच्छी चर्चा हुई है और खास कर मैं मानता हूं कि बड़ी उपलब्धि यही है कि अभी एक कमेटी निर्माण करने का फैसला हुआ है, जिसमें इनके परिवार के सदस्य रहेंगे, सरकार से कुछ सदस्य रहेंगे और रोजाना उसका एक ये लिया जाएगा, मुआवजा लिया जाएगा और आगे क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, वो देखा जाएगा।
Well, on the urban debate tonight, we're asking why police officer after police officer being attacked in Mumbai. Who will protect our protectors? I want to remind our audience that there's also a story coming in of a female police constable who was slapped on the road because she asked someone why they were not wearing a helmet. Visuals that you're seeing on your screen right now of an appalling attack on a police sub-inspector in Kalyan. Why isn't the government doing enough? And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to open up the phone lines at the beginning of the show so you can pick up the phone and join this conversation to fight for our police constables and stand on their side. That's the phone number right now from anywhere in the country. please pick up the phone and make your voice heard. Joining me on the show tonight, Aarti Sathe representing the BJP and the state government, Sandeep Deshpande from the MNS, Sujay Kantawala is a senior lawyer, Vikram Singh, former DGP of UP, and in a little while we will also have Vandana Pawar, who is the wife of a traffic constable who works in the city of Mumbai. Aarti Sathe, why isn't the government reacting to this? Why isn't the government coming forward to stand with our policemen?
I don't think, Faye, what you say right now is an absolutely correct statement of the situation. The government has in fact been very proactive in taking immediate steps and immediate action against all these attacks, unfortunate incidences which have happened as far as attacks on police force is concerned. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis in fact went and met the bereaved family of Vilas Shinde. He has also announced a package for the bereaved family members. He has also given an assurance, or rather more than an assurance, an option or a thing to be considered whether a job may be given to Mr. Shinde's son.
That is not stopping the attacks.
Now that his father is no more.
I respect the fact. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there.
No, that's no. 1 minute.
It's not stopping the attacks.
1 minute.
The attacks continue.
No, 1 minute. I know. No, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Your question was, why is the government not taking a stand? I'm telling you that the government has been extremely responsive, extremely proactive right from beginning. In fact, not only have these attacks ever triggered these pro-police reforms as far as the BJP government is concerned, but right since the time we have come into power, we have initiated various reforms for the police. In fact, just a few days back, the Chief Minister has inaugurated several toilets for the police. Now, why these attacks are not stopping is something which one has to really look at more from even a social point of view, that today probably the citizens are in some ways trying to take the law in their hands, and that is something which the government definitely will not tolerate, and every action will be taken to see to it that this doesn't consistently happen. And
no, see, Aarti, the Chief Minister has not made a statement. He hasn't come out and publicly condemned this and said that we look at it, this is terrible, we are not going to put up with it, we're going to take a very stern stand. There's no message that's come out from the government. Sujay Kantawala, shouldn't there have been a stronger message that came out from the government?
The Chief Minister has been extremely proactive.
Look, let me say this, that congratulations to you, the media, and especially your channel for having raised this issue again and again, and now every day we are seeing these kind of incidents that are happening on our policemen, men and women, unfortunately. Now, what is happening is that we totally rely on our police force, and we are extremely proud of them. He is the last man standing between crime and the person on whom the crime is going to be committed. So we have to see to it that they are protected. The video footage that we saw today was a deliberate pushing of the cop. He was thrown inside, and thereafter they tried to kind of drown him. I mean, this is
all for telling
unpardonable.
them to stand in line. All for telling them to stand in line.
The saddest part is that hundreds of people were watching, and this is the most holy festival for Hindus, all of us. That Ganpati, we invite him, and then after that we do the Visarjan. It's a very pious festival. According to me, the sanctity of the festival should not be lost. And this kind of a dastardly act, which I'm condemning totally, should not go unpunished. And the other incidents that are coming to our notice, if we don't do this, and we don't instill a fear of the law, that the law is going to catch up with these people, these miscreants, these misguided youth. They may have very high testosterone levels, but that they can utilize somewhere else. They cannot take it out on our police force.
Will that be enough? Will that be enough? Sandeep Deshpande, I want to ask you this question. Do you think the state government, by giving compensation, by asking whether the children should get jobs, is doing enough to stop the attacks? Because right now our focus should be to stop these attacks. The attacks still continue.
See, what I personally think is that we have to look into this issue in a larger manner. Because many of the police stations do not have sufficient staff. If you see this incident also, the particular incident, what we are watching on the news channel, there is no sufficient staff with him. If there would have been sufficient staff with him, this incident would not have taken place. He was a lone policeman looking after all these things. If you go to any police station, there is no sufficient staff. When we raise this issue, why the sufficient recruitment is not being made in the police force? The reasons comes we are lack of financial these things. There is no finance available with the state government, so we cannot recruit the staff. We cannot make make their salaries and all these things.
There is enough finance available for the state government for them to have given all their MLAs
No, this is the reason.
Pay hike. Lately, there is not enough money to increase our police force in order to give them better conditions of life.
That is the reason Mr. Bhandari has given on the channel when I was a part of discussion. This is the reason they are given. So I think this is a very sad situation, and you will have to make. See, I'll tell you one incident of Raza Academy. There was one morcha. Police, even ladies constable were beaten up. What happened? They were all released on bail. There was no strict action taken against them. So this decreases fear among the people. They say whatever हम कोई कुछ भी करो चलता है, हमको कुछ नहीं होने वाला है.
I agree to what he's saying.
So I think there should be example कि if you do this, you are going to get ruin.
And to add to what Sandeep is saying,
Yes.
they are grossly understaffed. I go to police stations regularly and I see the facilities. They are grossly understaffed. They are sweating. Fans are not working. You see, we have to be proud of
Very
our
bad
police
situation.
force. And considering the pro rata population, we are just too many people. We are just too many people. And to manage this kind of a massive population, look at, I think we have 500 to 600 people. We have one maybe policeman.
We have one policeman.
Now,
Actually, the numbers
terrible.
are on your screen right now. There's a shortage
That
of
is
4,000 policemen in the city of Mumbai.
Why
And
can't
we
we
are-
employ our youth and make them policemen? We
And
have
556 people, there's one policeman. Aarti, Sathe, it's true that the government has given, that we're understaffed, we don't have enough policemen. There's an entire conversation happening about the fact that they're underpaid as well. This comes at a time when the Maharashtra government has just given itself a pay hike. Have the MLAs put themselves ahead of the policemen?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not that, it's kind of trying to fudge the facts in the sense that they have taken a pay hike and nothing is being given to the policemen, which is not correct. The Police Reforms Act is being very strongly pushed by our legislators, even in fact our parliamentarians. In fact, Ms. Poonam Mahajan a couple of years back had assured the Police Reform Watch along with the CHRI that
why
the Maharashtra
for last 3 years there is no
Police Amendment
recruitment.
Act, which
There is
was
no
passed
recruitment of
hurriedly in
PSIs. There is no
2014.
recruitment of the head constables. There is no recruitment of the police staff.
But 1 minute, it has to be passed properly. The act needs to be, in fact, when the ordinance was initiated by the chief minister, there were certain activists, there were certain groups which wanted changes in that act, and hence probably there has been a bit of delay. But that does not mean that the government is doing nothing
stop you
for the
from
police
recruiting
force.
police force.
Recruiting under the current
the chief
rules.
minister, 1 minute.
Recruiting police force does not come under any act. It is for the state to act upon it.
But 1 minute, let me. The state is doing the process, but there is another thing where as far as the financial crunch was pointed out, let me just point out another thing. The Chief Minister has also announced a health policy for the policemen very recently.
I'm talking about recruitment, madam.
See, so Aarti Sathe, just answer this question for me. Just answer this question. Let's stay on point of how
recruitment.
Yes.
That aspect is also being taken into
Let's stay
consideration.
on point of the
I'm
fact
only
that we
answering
need
the
to
question that the
stop
state is
people
not
from
spending
beating
money,
up our
which
policemen.
is incorrect.
We need to stop people from beating up our policemen, right? The
That is
only
absolutely taken, and it's very unfortunate.
solution that has been
It's a
offered to us
social
by
and
the state
cultural issue
government
also
is
which
that
needs
no
to be,
policeman
people
will
have
be
to be
stationed alone.
educated.
No policeman will be stationed alone. This is what the state government has told us is the solution,
Fair
and
enough,
that's how they
fair
will
enough,
be safe.
fair
If you
enough.
are already short of policemen and you're not recruiting anymore, how will you station them in 2s and 3s? That's how we will have a situation like we're looking at right now on our screen. One policeman battling 4 people, he's easily overpowered.
That process of recruitment will go on.
When can you give us a time limit?
But that process of recruitment will
Give us a
definitely
time
go
limit
on,
to the
and it
state.
will be-
This will be
I
done
can't
within
give a
6
time
months,
limit
3
right now.
months, 1 year,
How can
2
a time limit be
years,
given
or
for anything
more than
for
2
that
years.
matter?
I
You will
just
have
want
to
to
set some
know.
time
See,
limit.
I just want to know how the state government is going to stop the attacks.
Pursuing this. I cannot give a time limit at this point of time.
I just want to know how the state government is going to stop these attacks.
Government will stop attacks, and already that process has started. Already that process has started because all these criminals or all these miscreants who have carried out these attacks have already been booked. The juvenile who carried the attack on Shinde, which was extremely unfortunate, I'm being told has been booked for murder. The other thing is that police reforms are being aggressively pursued by the government, by our legislators. And as far as spending money or funding is concerned, I just told you that an insurance policy has been announced by the Chief Minister. So I think step by step, all these issues are being addressed, and definitely we will see a solution. And these kind of attacks at no cost will be tolerated by the state government.
Mr. Vikram Singh,
That's
former
an assurance
DGP
which
UP.
I can definitely give.
Mr. Vikram Singh, former DGP UP. Are any of these solutions?
And
Do any
Prime
of these
Minister
solutions
Modi
seem
and
like they will
All
stop
India
the
Section
attacks?
of police also made a very.
Will any of these solutions stop the attacks? Mr. Vikram Singh.
Faye, let me compliment you and your channel first for bringing out a point and an issue that is most contemporary and relevant in today's India. None of these issues is going to make any difference or cut any ice. We have failed the police, number one, by not taking deterrent and punitive action against those who assaulted the policeman. Assaulting a policeman is not an ordinary assault. It is an assault on the Constitution of India and on the uniform and the sovereignty of the country. It is not just an ordinary assault. And what prevents you from booking them under the MACOCA and the National Security Act? Obviously, you're not very serious of having a no-nonsense job. You are at best doing what is cosmetics and treating terminal cancer with a band-aid. If you're serious, ma'am, please ask your officers to invoke the provisions of National Security Act, sub-article 2 of public order, and book them for a time so that they remember that assaulting a police officer and assaulting a thana is no joke. What happened in Azad Maidan in August 2012 is a grim story and a grim memory that women constables were assaulted and stabbed. We did nothing then also. We are not doing anything now also. And what to talk of the mob? Are we trying to be an apologist for those who assaulted the police officer? Look at the pathos and the anguish of Nitin, the sub-inspector. He is too disciplined to open his mouth. It is for the state and for the leadership in the police to come down like a ton of bricks on all those who assaulted him and tried to murder him. 307 is good, 332 is good. I would rather invoke the provisions of the MACOCA and the National Security Act too.
Aarti, Sathe responds to that it's not stern enough, the action is not stern enough right now. And this is effectively an attack on the Constitution of India, to attack a policeman in uniform.
Well, I have repeatedly said that these incidences are unfortunate, and I'm trying to tell you that government is taking the strictest possible measures. As far as invocation of MACOCA or NSA, National Security Act is concerned, that will have to be examined in the facts of the case or the offence which has been committed. For the moment, all the miscreants have been booked under the IPC, under the relevant provisions, and those laws are sufficient to take enough action and gives enough powers to the state to really take strict action as far as these offences are concerned. So to say that no strict action is being considered, I think would be a highly incorrect statement to make. The state is committed to carrying out strictest stringent measures against these people doing these offences.
Madam, this examination must come in reasonable time. If I examine the issues for a period of more than 72 days, then the issue is diluted and the firmness and the rule of law is taken for a ride. And let me tell you from my experience, if assaulting a police officer in broad daylight, in public, is not serious enough to invoke the provisions of MACOCA and the NSA, then what is? I think every time I say that I will have it examined by the law department, I think I'm taking an escape route of giving an alibi to those who are assaulting the police and the police stations.
In fact, I want to point out to our audience, what you're looking at on your screen right now is footage of those 4 young people who attacked a police officer in uniform and attempted to drown him. and that police officer did nothing more than ask them to stand in line. I'm shocked that they're even being allowed to cover their faces at this point. Faces should be made public and they should be shown for the miscreants that they are. Sandeep Deshpande, is the Chief Minister, who's also the Home Minister, unable to keep a handle on law and order in this state at this point?
Yeah, I think, if you're running a channel, you have got a different input editor, output editor and editor differently. Editor does not do all the jobs. He's also go on field and he's also reporting. In the same way, while running the state, Chief Minister is having so many profiles with him. He's handling UD, he's handling his Chief Minister, he's handling MTDC, he's handling Home Ministry. How it is possible? You always need for a state like Maharashtra, this is not Gujarat, this is Maharashtra, where you will have to keep a separate Home Ministry. I don't want to go in that controversy of Shiv Sena and BJP that who will be the Home Minister, but there has to be an efficient Home Minister who can control the situation, who can handle the situation, who can look after the recruitments of the polices, who can give them funding. See, I'll tell you one example, just I am raising one more issue which I have seen throughout my police stations and all this. See, I stay in Shivaji Park. They have got a 24 hours bandobast at Chowpatty for this Ganpati and all these things.
Yes.
They don't even get food to eat in the night.
Yes.
It is not supplied by the police station. They have to depend on the mercy of somebody from the area who will supply those. See, when you start taking favors from somebody, you always try to give them favors. So that is a very bad situation for the police. They always have to take favors from somebody from the area, who in turn asks the favors to the police, even for the supply of stationery, even for the supply of petrol, even for the supply of day-to-day working of the police station, even for the telephone bills. How that police station is going to survive? They have to take favors. So people who are giving them favors will ask favors in return. So this is not the very good functioning of the police station. It has to stop immediately.
And to what Sandeep is saying, that this has to be started from the ground. All the police stations have to be modernized. The conditions have to be improved. Their housing has to be improved. Better lives for their families. You see, because
I demand right now, all of that is fair. I completely agree. Better lives for their families, better housing. In fact, I'll put on our screen right now what the housing of an average constable in Mumbai looks like. 180 square feet is where the government housing is available. It's on your screen right now. That is what the housing looks like for a police constable. 180 square feet where his entire family resides. And he pays rent on that housing. All of that has to improve. But right now, my first demand is our Chief Minister, our Home Minister, who is the same person, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, come out and make a statement about this. Come out and make a statement that this is something the government is taking very seriously, that we stand by our police officers, that we stand by our constables, we give them confidence and we will take stern action. Unless we come out in support of our police, we're going to find them sort of crumble under the pressure. I have with me right now Vandana Pawar. Vandana Pawar is a traffic constable's wife. Vandana ji, हमने पिछले हफ्ते बात की, अभी फिर से एक और अटैक हुआ है. क्या आपको लग रहा है कि स्टेट की गवर्नमेंट कुछ कर रही है इसके बारे में?
क्या कर रही है? अगर करना होता, अगर कुछ स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन लेते तो ये वापस होता नहीं. हाँ, आज कितना उधर मराठीत बोलते, आज किती लोक तिथं जमा आहेत, त्या पोलीसवाल्याला ते बुडवत आहेत, त्यांच्यामध्ये एवढी ताकद आली कुठून? वर्दीवर असताना तुम्ही पोलीसवाल्याला त्याचं मर्डर करायच्या भावनेने त्याला दाबतायत, मारून टाकायचा प्रयत्न करतायत. पब्लिक तिथं बघते, कुणी वाचवायला जातंय का नाही जाते? कारण की पोलीसवाल्यापेक्षा ते मंडळाचे कुठचे तरी कार्यकर्त्याचे, कुठचे तरी नेत्याचे हाताखालची माणसं आहेत. त्यामुळं पोलीसवाल्याला घाबरत नाही, पण त्यांना घाबरतात, त्यामुळं कुणी वाचवायला गेलं नाही. हे असे नेत्या लोकांचे पाळून ठेवलेले कुत्रे बोलणार मी सरळ. आज त्यांची एवढी हिंमत की पोलीसवाल्यांना मारायची त्यांच्यामध्ये ताकद आली. जर सीएम साहेबांनी स्ट्रिक्ट ॲक्शन घेतली तर ही वेळ येणार नाही. विलास शिंदेंचं घडल्यापासून ही 5वी-6वी वेळ आहे की पोलीसवाल्यांवर सारखं अटॅक होत आहे. सीएम साहेब काय करताय? फक्त आश्वासन, हे करतो ते करतो, काहीच करत नाहीये.
One example.
Right, I just have to translate for our audience what Vandana said, because not all of them would follow Marathi. She basically said that the government has done nothing. That if these people are emboldened enough to go ahead and lift their hand on a policeman in his uniform, there must be somebody powerful standing behind them. They must be getting their confidence from somewhere, and the state government is giving them reassurance after reassurance that's not being followed up by any action. She wants to know how somebody of the age of 17 or 18 or 20, which we've realized in all of the 4 cases that we're talking about, that's the average age. How someone of that age feels that they have the ability and the confidence to injure a police officer and get away with it. Sujay.
See, I'll tell you one thing. I can guarantee you one thing, that if a recruitment drive is started today, within 15 days, 5,000 boys will be selected, FR boys and girls. We have such a huge population of youth. They are all available. Just make it simple and just recruit them.
And we don't even have to go that far. Ask Vandana. Vandana ji, police officer, police constable की जो बच्चे हैं, जिनको पुलिस में ज्वाइन होना है, उनके साथ क्या होता है?
क्या होता है? भटक रहे. इतकी मोठी पोलीस भरती होते, पोलीसवाल्यांचे पोरं तसेच आहेत. पोलीसवाल्यांचे नाही, आम जनता मी म्हणते, सगळ्यांसाठी बोलते. आता हे जे घडतंय, 1000 मागे एक पोलीसवाला आहे. तुम्ही पोलीस भरती करतात, लाखातले 1000 निवडतात, त्यातले तुम्ही 1000 निवडल्यानंतर 2 पोलीसवाले, ह्या रस्त्याला एक, त्या रस्त्याला एक. जर ह्या पोलीसवाल्यांना संरक्षण नसेल, एवढी मुलं बेरोजगार पडलेली आपल्या महाराष्ट्रात आणि इंडियात, तर 4 पोरं उभं करा त्यांच्याबरोबर. कुणाची ताकद नाही पोलीसवाल्यांना छेडून जाईल. 10 पोरं जातात ना, तर पोलीसवाल्याला चिडवून जातात रस्त्याने. एवढी पोलीसवाल्यांची हालत बेकार केली, बिचारे गपचूप उभे असतात, तरी ते पोलीसवाले बदनाम. काहीच करू शकत नाही.
Aarti Sathe, respond to that for the benefit of our audience. What Vandana is saying is that we need the police officers obviously need to be increased by number. They're understaffed, they're overworked, they're underpaid. And we have so many young people, including children of these police officers, who want those jobs, but somehow the government is doing nothing. Aarti Sathe, we are hearing this right now from the families of police officers and constables who say the government is not doing enough for them. Respond to her.
I'd like to only first respond to her by saying कि ऐसा नहीं है कि can I speak in Marathi for her benefit also?
I would appreciate if you spoke in Hindi, because more people would be able to understand what's going on across the country if we spoke in Hindi. Vandana follows Hindi.
All right. वंदना जी, मैं आपको ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि आपके जो दुख है वो सरकार समझती है. देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी ने आज नहीं, कुछ दिन पहले बहुत सारे स्टेटमेंट्स, बहुत सारे पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स, बहुत सारे आश्वासन तो सिर्फ दिए नहीं है, लेकिन एक्शन भी ली है. और जो आप कह रही है कि पुलिस रिक्रूटमेंट नहीं हो रही है, इनफैक्ट अगर आप पुलिस रिक्रूटमेंट वेबसाइट पे जाए तो हर रोज़ नए नए एडवर्टीजमेंट्स निकलते हैं कांस्टेबल के पोजीशन के लिए या सब इंस्पेक्टर के पोजीशन के लिए. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट कुछ कर रही नहीं है इस रिक्रूटमेंट ड्राइव के बारे में. इनफैक्ट नासिक में जो पुलिस एकेडमी है वो फुल्ली स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट इक्विप्ड है, जहां पुलिसों को ट्रेनिंग दिया जाता है. So I feel the government is not really lax about the whole system. What has happened today is unfortunate. Sometimes it is also the mob mentality which gives, a strength or a sense of being fearless in attacking a police officer. So I think both these incidences, except of course,
Aarti Sathe, we can't attribute this to mob mentality, because as an average citizen, if the mob is going to be emboldened to attack the police, then what is stopping them from attacking the rest of us?
1 minute. No. What I'm saying the reason behind this attack could be a mob mentality, which I'm not trying to say that it was the right thing.
Let me say this.
What happened today, as far as the attempt to drown the police officer was concerned, was more of a mob mentality, and this mob mentality.
No, it was a pre-planned thing. He was pushed and he was tried to be drowned. May I say this?
IPC Act, which is pretty archaic.
I feel that if the government does not have money,
1 minute. Let me finish.
We citizens are now so concerned about this because we need to see policemen on the road. I tell you. Otherwise, we feel scared about it. Let me tell you this. Every citizen will contribute 5 rupees and give the government a fund, and let's recruit 5,000 boys and girls.
That brings me back to, do we really need to do a chanda for the government? Do we really need to have chanda for the government of Maharashtra when it's giving itself 100%, 200% pay hikes? We need to be a little more careful about where the money is going and who's getting paid with this money. Aarti, Sathe, I want to take you through the cases that we're talking about. Mr. Vilas Shinde, Head Constable Vilas Shinde, the late Vilas Shinde, stopped a 17-year-old who went away, came back with his older brother, and then the two of them got together and beat the police constable to death. This particular case that we're looking at on our screen, we're looking at on our screen right now, 4 people ganged up on one police officer. One of them attempted to hold his head underwater and kill him. The case that happened 13 hours ago, where there was a female police constable who stopped a young lady on a Honda Activa. The young lady went away, came back with her older brother. The older brother slapped the police constable in broad daylight on the road. None of this qualifies as mob mentality. And my concern is, if this sort of thing is happening to the police officers, what is standing between us and crime?
Faye, your concern is well taken, but the concern of the state is much higher because we are responsible for the law and order situation. Such unfortunate incidences have happened not only today but in the past also, and I'm not justifying that because it's happened in the past. In 2014, something more heinous had in fact happened even in Delhi. But to say today that the state government is doing nothing about it is absolutely unfair. As far as the IPC is concerned, yes, we are dealing with an archaic law. Maybe we have to bring about stringent laws. Maybe, yes, the enforcement needs to be tinkered around. Yes, the fear of law needs to be instilled in the citizens. And these are the trigger points which the state will take into consideration. The state is not sensitive to all these issues, and police is our first priority.
May I ask you one question, Sathe madam? May I ask you one question? You are saying for so long time. I'll just ask you one question, one simple question, madam.
You can ask me as many questions. 1 minute. 1 minute, let me complete. 1 minute, let me complete.
I listen to you all the lecture, all the time. Just one question I want to ask you.
The Congress government has passed after the Supreme Court judgment asking all the states to implement the Police Reforms Act. None of the states got back, and in a hurry the Police Reform Act, the Maharashtra Police Reform Act, was passed by the then Congress government, and we in fact have championed the cause of the police officers at all points of time. Prime Minister Modi at the All India Police Conference in Guwahati has made a statement that the police have to be made smart. I mean, the whole acronym stands for a much longer elongated words, but the point I'm making is that we have always been sensitive to the police. We are not going to take all these actions lying down, and to say that the state government is not doing anything, absolutely incorrect, a wrong projection. The Chief Minister has come out very strongly on these issues. In fact, your channel just now showed that Uddhavji Thackeray met the Chief Minister and a committee is going to be formed.
But Aarti, Sathe, when has the Chief Minister made a statement? If you're saying the Chief Minister has come out strongly, why hasn't he made a statement, especially in this particular case? Why hasn't he made a statement in this case? We've heard that police officer, that sub-inspector who turned around and said, it's my job, I'm going to have to go back and do it. The Chief Minister has not made a statement. And I just want to, Sujay, I want to point out, what has happened right now in these cases. The lady constable who was slapped, the person who slapped her has been booked under Article 353 and 332. The case that we're looking at right now, the attempt to drown the police officer, attempted murder has been used. Is this enough? Like has been pointed out by Vikram Singh, can't we demand for Mocha in these cases?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Vikram Singh that the harshest kind of laws have to be applied, sections have to be applied, a clear message. What about that lady constable in BKC? She could not even get a hospital to get her admitted. She had to go from one hospital to another. How can we tolerate these kind of things happening? And what is the morale? The morale will go to such a low. The recruitment is number one. It has to be there. We have to see more and more policemen on duty. That will also help in creating less unemployment of our youth. We have such strong, good, progressive Maharashtrian youth. Let's make them policemen and policewomen. They are ready. They are waiting.
In fact, half of this behavior that we see on the street is because people are unemployed. Go on, Sandeep Deshpande.
I just wanted to ask one question to Sathe madam. Late Mr. Vilas Shinde was in the hospital for 7 days. Chief Minister didn't have 1 minute time to just go and visit that Lilavati hospital and ask whether do you need any help or something like that. Nobody visited hospital until Mr. Raj Sahib said in the speech. Then all the attention went to Mr. Vilas Shinde. But before that, being Home Minister of the state, being Chief Minister of state, you didn't find one single minute to visit that cop. What? And you are saying you are very proactive, you are very strong. Today, Mr. Uddhav Sahib went to.
1 minute.
You are now coming with all these things. But why didn't you visit that hospital?
1 minute.
Why didn't you visit that hospital?
But why are you trying to politicize?
I'm not politicizing. I'm asking you one simple question.
Deshpande, why are you trying to politicize?
7 days he was in the hospital.
You know, by just grabbing ground.
You know, just for the benefit of our audience, I will come to you, Mr. Vikram Singh. I want
trying to get grab brownie points.
No, let's not make this political. Let's focus on the
brownie points.
Not additional CP visited.
And hence the Chief Minister
Only DCP of traffic visited that hospital.
We need support of all political parties in this kind of cause. We don't need politicization of this issue, Mr. Deshpande.
I'm not politicizing. I'm just asking you a simple question.
We don't need politicization.
No, your Chief Minister don't have time to visit Mr. Vilas Shinde when he was in the hospital. Your Home Minister don't have time to visit Mr. Vilas Shinde.
I will point out.
I cannot comment on the Chief Minister's schedule. But the point is that
he was very busy.
With
what?
Please
no, I will point out this, and my team will put this footage on screen.
Don't just grab brownie points for the
heck of it. Hang on.
Just answer to all the Indian audience.
Let's just put the footage on screen. We have footage of the Chief Minister visiting the family of the late Vilas Shinde, the wives of police officers in that building. The wives of the police officers in that building blocked the route of the Chief Minister and did not let him enter, because they were that upset. We're going to put that footage up on screen. We have that footage. We're going to put it up on screen. This is when the Chief Minister visited the location, and you'll see there were very, very upset family members who were upset about the fact that it took him that long to come and visit Vilas Shinde and his family. This is the housing, this is the police housing that we're looking at. That's the Chief Minister when he came out of that building, and you'll see in a moment, and this happened last week, you'll see in a moment the reaction of those wives. Mr. Vikram Singh, there you see, those are the wives who blocked his way, who were very, very upset. They're wives of constables. I want to point out to our audience that police constables and police officers cannot protest. They cannot form a union. They cannot voice their concerns in any way. So their wives do it on their behalf, which is why Vandana is in the studio with us today. She's speaking on behalf of her husband.
Mr.
Vikram Singh.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Police Act of 1861 prevents any kind of agitation or any kind of coming to the streets of policemen. Yes. But look at Vandana ji's and ask yourself, do you not see the anguish writ large on her face? Do you not see anguish writ large on the faces of the ladies of the police officers who obstructed the path of the Chief Minister? Mumbai Police is one of the most professional police forces in the country, and really you must have to try very hard to erode the credibility of the office of the Chief Minister that you are obstructed and heckled by the ladies, because ladies by force, they are as disciplined as the police officers themselves. If they cannot go on strike, knock and the ladies will go on strike. But you needle them and twist their arm to an extent that the anguish has spilled forth, and then the outburst is natural, and I would say that the CM had it coming. When he had this agitation, the CM had invited this agitation during his arrival. Normally, he would have been welcomed with bouquets. Normally, he would have been welcomed with slogans. But really, you must have tried extra hard to get a new warm reception like this.
You know, in fact,
Vandana ji is an epitome of all suffering woman in an average police officer's life. Right. I would like to talk to you, it is in nobody's intent or agenda to score brownie points or to politicize any issue. There are case laws that go to say slapping a police officer has been upheld by the Honorable Supreme Court as far as NSA is concerned. Stripping of a police officer, assaulting them, trying to drown him is much serious. It is not rocket science. I would rather that I first go in. I would rather be faulted for taking a harsh step rather than being faulted for not taking any action at all.
In fact, thank you for that, Vikram Singh.
Visual action.
There should
be a visual action, which we are not able to see.
I want to also play this. Our reporters went out and spoke to several wives of constables and sub-inspectors in Mumbai to find out from them what the morale is like in the police force in Maharashtra. Listen to this.
थोड़ा नहीं, बहुत डर लगता है, बहुत मतलब हमारे कम से कम 10-12 कॉल्स होते हैं पूरे दिन में कि मेरा हस्बैंड जहाँ पे ड्यूटी पे है वहाँ पे सही है या नहीं है। ये दहशत बढ़ गई है ना कि हर 1-2 दिन में ऐसे हत्याओं के मामले सामने आ रहे हैं।
6-7 महीना घुमाते ही रहते, कोई जल्दी न्याय नहीं मिलता। पेंशन के लिए बेचारे एक दूसरे से पैसा लेके वो घर चलाते, उसके बाद आराम से सरकार काम करती है। 4 साल से हम लोग घर के लिए घूम रहे हैं। हमको 93 में म्हाड़ा पुलिस क्वार्टर हम लोग उधर रहते हैं। 93 में कोई नहीं जाता था, तभी बोले आप जाओ, आपको ओनरशिप करके देंगे। ओनरशिप तो किया नहीं, अभी तक 22 साल हो गए।
Well, that's the morale right now in our police force and their families. The housing is appalling. Promises broken over and over again by various state governments. The argument that this government has only been in power for 2 years or 2.5 years, have not had enough time on your schedule, does not hold anymore. As the Home Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis has to come out and make a statement. He has to speak for his police officers and he has to make it very, very clear that the government stands by them. These small meetings assuring a housing policy of some sort is just not enough. We've reached a point where we need stark and very, very clear measures, and at least verbally make a statement saying we will not tolerate this sort of behavior because the government backs our police officers and backs our constables, and this is unacceptable. Sujay.
See, the job of a police inspector and police constable, when a person comes to the police station, he has to note down the complaint, he has to apply his mind, he has to have a peaceful, he has to have that security in his mind that, everything is going to be taken care of. He is doing a duty. And every day people are coming and complaining that, ye lodge karo FIR, ye lodge karo FIR. This is, I'm talking about police stations. Even on the road, if you see, one traffic constable is waiting and poor fellow in the heat, his poor uniform is full of sweat and he has to control the traffic. Now, all these things have to be looked at in a very humane manner. Because unless we don't have our policemen and unless we don't have policemen fit, healthy and in a peaceful state of mind and happy, they will not be able to do their duty. We cannot go to the office and do our duty if we are also upset. So therefore, we have to
Sujay,
be proactive.
I agree, and this is a conversation we've had the last time Vandana was in the studio. We talked about the fact that unki 12 ghante, 14 ghante ki shift lagti hai. They don't have enough time to eat. They don't have enough time to sleep. They're stressed out. They're on their feet all the time. But right now, I'm concerned about a different thing. The health is one problem. I'm concerned about morale. I'm concerned about fear. If your family is terrified that you're leaving the house every day, they don't know whether you're coming back. How do you function in that situation? What is the morale like? I want to ask Vandana. Vandana ji, ये बताइए, जब पुलिस वाले आज ड्यूटी पे जाते, तो क्या उनको डर लग रहा है? क्या उनकी फैमिली वालों को डर लग रहा है?
भीती तर वाटते, नोकरी आहे, करावं लागते, मजबुरी आहे. मजबुरी म्हणजे नोकरी आहे, करायला पाहिजे. भीती वाटते. पण करणार काय? काहीच करू शकत नाही. नोकरी आहे, नोकरीला गेलं तर पगार भेटेल, नाहीतर उपाशी मरू. दूसरा आमच्याजवळ ऑप्शन नाही आहे मॅडम.
और फॅमिली वालों को कैसा लग रहा है अभी?
फॅमिली वाले कसं वाटतं हे कसं सांगून आमच्या भावना तुम्हाला नाही कळू शकत. सरकारला जर कळलं असतं ना तर आतापर्यंत त्यांनी काहीतरी निर्णय घेतला असता आणि ही घटना आजची घडली नसती. जरा हे मंडळातले लोक आहेत ना, राजकारण्यांचे पाळलेले लोक आहेत, यांना जरा आवर घाला म्हणजे कळेल.
जो वंदना जी आज बोल रही है, we have to take it very seriously. These 4 boys, tomorrow file a charge sheet and convict them, and after a trial, fast take the trial and convict them. And as Mr. Singh has said, apply the stringent provisions, convict them, send a message.
किती पब्लिक आहे तिथं बघा, पब्लिक किती आहे, कोण वाचवायला येते का ते पण बघा. कोणीच वाचवायला येत नाहीये. म्हणजे वर्दीपेक्षा हे पाळलेले गुंडे मोठे आहेत. पोलीसवाल्याची काहीच किंमत नाही पोलीसवाल्याला, आणि ही परिस्थिती आणली नेत्या लोकांनी.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Vikram. Just for the benefit of our audience, what Vandana is saying is that look at the number of people who are watching this attack on that policeman who have done nothing, proving only that the the support of the political support is with those 4 boys, and they're more powerful than the policeman, which is why nobody is coming to the aid of that policeman. And what's unfortunate is we can actually see in this video various cell phones that have been raised to record the video.
Record the video and take movies and yet not come to the help of the helpless policeman. Yes, it will bleed anybody's heart to see and hear to what Vandana ji has to say. But morale, what life is to the human body, morale is to a police force. Bereft of all morale, because what I'm given to understand, it is a very pathetic state of affairs. Like any police officer when he leaves home, the lady of the house and the children do not know whether the police officer would return, or he'll return on a stretcher or a wheelchair, or the dead body will come back home. It is so scary, it is so petrifying, and heavens forbid if something bad were to happen to a policeman. But this is the fate of every police officer, beginning from a constable right up to the Director General of Police. And my sympathies go to all policemen and all the ladies who have been subjected to this injustice. And if you have any sense of shame or justice left, please come down heavily like a ton of bricks on all those who have assaulted your policemen. Sujay ji, I must salute you for the bold stand you have taken for the policemen. You have stood by them, and we need more people like you and Faye and your channel. But please, for heaven's sake, do not think that the police, you can twist its arm till eternity. You already have a very distressing sign when the ladies have come out and openly opposed the Chief Minister. Let us not have a situation that you push them to the brink and something more terrible happens. Come down heavily on those criminals who have played with the uniform and the sanctity of the uniform.
Rightfully so. We treat our armed forces with care and with respect because they deserve the care and respect. But somehow, we don't award that same care and respect to our police forces. Why aren't the constables treated better in terms of housing, in terms of pay, in terms of respect?
I would say so that perhaps the perception, the sense of perception, familiarity breeds contempt. The armed forces interact with the civilians once in a blue moon, and the police interact with the civilians on a regular basis. And perhaps they seem to be oblivious to the difficulties of the policemen, and therefore perhaps armed forces, and rightfully so, should be placed on a higher pedestal. But the police are second to none. The casualties in the police now outnumber those of the armed forces. You will be shocked to know that now the casualties in the paramilitary forces and the police pan-India are more than that of the armed forces. And therefore it is a point to be noted that the sacrifice of the police is second to none.
And injuries caused by spoilt brats of the road who don't know their place in society. This is not an army that we're fighting. These are citizens that we're fighting. And this sort of thing should be absolutely condemned and stood up against. I want to play some more voices. And these are voices that we recorded after Vilas Shinde passed away. I want you to hear, Aarti, Sathe, how the wives of police constables feel right now, where the morale is, and why they're afraid to send their husbands to work.
ये जो इंसिडेंट्स हुआ है ना, ये बहुत बुरा क्राइसिस है उनकी फैमिली के ऊपर, और ये हम लोग ये अभी ये डिस्टर्ब हो गई है फैमिली के, ये क्राइसिस हमारे साथ भी हो सकता है क्योंकि हमारे भी हस्बैंड जाते हैं ड्यूटी पे, तो वापस आएंगे या नहीं आएंगे इसकी श्योरिटी नहीं, तो फिर ऑर्डिनरी पब्लिक भी इसमें सेफ नहीं है। सिर्फ हम लोग को ही प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ये प्रॉब्लम ऑर्डिनरी पब्लिक का भी है क्योंकि वो जिसके ऊपर होप लगाए हुए है तो उनको ही कोई गुंडा या कोई भी ऑर्डिनरी आके मारता है, तो ये बहुत बुरी चीज़ है।
और कल आके तो मंत्री बोल के जगह बच्चा नादान है वो है, ये क्या बोलने का हुआ? एक आदमी का जान गया, एक का घर का परिवार का आदमी गया, वो लाएंगे क्या? वो नहीं ला सकते ना। जो इंसिडेंट्स हुआ है छोटी बात नहीं है, कोई भी आ रहा है 15 साल का बच्चा घर पे फ़ोन करके बुलाता है, उसका भाई आता है डायरेक्ट, वो जो पुलिस कांस्टेबल है उन पे डंडा मारता है, ये कोई राइट है क्या? कुछ राइट थिंग है? उसने जो किया वो कुछ राइट है क्या?
2 दिन ये गर्मा गर्मी रहेगी, बाद में ठंडा हो जाएगा, सब कोई नहीं ध्यान देगा। मगर इस केस पे तो काम होना ही चाहिए और कार्रवाई होनी ही चाहिए।
फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट पर चला के ये उसका जल्दी निकालना चाहिए, ज़्यादा उससे अंदर से अंदर रिजल्ट जल्दी मिलना चाहिए, जाके उनको डर लग जाए, सामने वाले को डर लग जाए कि वो फिर से ये बात नहीं होनी चाहिए।
वो नाबालिग लड़का है, हमारे ऊपर हाथ उठा रहा है, हमारा एक प्रकार का उसने खून किया है, हमारा खून किया है, एंड पुलिस खाते का जो पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट है उसको तो कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं रखा है कि एक मामूली सा लड़का आके हम लोग के ऊपर डायरेक्ट अटैक करता है, मतलब हम लोग की क्या हैसियत रह गई है पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट? दिस इज नॉट फेयर।
That is the morale of the families of the police constables in Mumbai. And I want to point out that the constables never speak on camera themselves, which is why their wives take up the battle on their behalf. Aarti, Sathe, how do we function? How do you expect this force to function with such low morale? And what stern action? We saw very, very clear demands. Fast track it, make sure that these people are put behind bars. This is an attack on society. This is an attack on law and order. Why can't we fast track it? Why can't we apply mocha? Why can't the Chief Minister come out and make a statement?
Chief Minister has come out and made a statement in the past, and yes, at this point of time, I am very sensitive to what the wives of the policemen and the bereaved families are going through. On behalf of the state government, definitely, I can make the assurance that we are not going to take these things lightly. As far as the demand of fast tracking is concerned, yes, that is something which we will consider, and we will do everything possible that is under the powers which we have to see to it that nobody takes the police force for granted. We have utmost respect for the police force. Their housing problems are being
that if a charge sheet is filed tomorrow or day after,
1 minute,
I will leave my practice. I will get myself appointed as a special prosecutor.
Sure.
I will do it free of charge, and I will get these 4 rascals convicted. I'm willing to do that.
Sujay. Thank you, Sujay. Aarti, Sathe, will there be a charge sheet filed tomorrow morning?
Sujay, it's Mr. Kantawala, that's a very nice suggestion. We would absolutely, that's a very good suggestion, and we will see to it that action will be taken. And thank you. Absolutely, I agree, Sujay, and I'm totally with you. I'm myself a lawyer. I'm also, I have the highest regard for the Khaki, and taking law in hands by the citizens of this city is something which will not be tolerated. Yes, we as a state government, whatever is there in our hands, we will do, and these bereaved families, the morale of the police will always be there. In fact, Bombay police at one point of time, and I'm sure even now, has been compared to Scotland Yard. So we will keep up that image always of the police, and we will see to it that the
Sandeep Deshpande,
do not have the guts to carry out such kind of attacks.
The accused in this particular case are believed to be part of the Jarimari Ganesh Utsav Mandal, where this incident happened. We should also make it very, very clear in the state of Maharashtra that this sort of anti-social behavior under the garb of a festival, under the garb of religion, to insult what is going on there in terms of belief should not be tolerated. Absolutely not tolerated.
Attack on policemen will not be tolerated. That we have to make it very clear, whatever may be the situation.
What are your expectations right now from the government, Sandeep?
See, first of all, as it said, charge sheet has to be filed at the earliest. Now they have applied 307, that is attempt to murder. I don't know who is the best person to tell whether that will be stringent enough to make them behind the bars. Otherwise, they may get bail within 10-15 days. And if they get bail, then all this matter will go down.
Makes no sense.
No,
so I don't know.
Is it a bailable offence? Sujay?
No, it is a non-bailable offence.
It's a
non-bailable offence. It's a non-bailable offence.
As he rightly said, file a charge sheet immediately, fast track the trial, you have to follow the procedure and get them convicted.
It's all there in black and white. Within 90 days, they will get the bail.
Yeah.
File a charge sheet immediately. File a charge sheet immediately.
File a 3-page charge sheet. Why do you need such a long charge sheet, hundreds of pages? It's all there.
We're looking at the busy season, when the festive season starts in the city of Mumbai, where the police constables are going to be asked to work without breaks, without holidays, sometimes all night, especially when it comes to bandobast. The least we can do as a state and as citizens is guarantee their safety, guarantee food, water and their safety. My appeal to everybody who's watching right now is, if you see a police constable standing on the road in the rain, in the sun, in some sort of bandobast, offer them water, offer them your support, have a conversation and tell them that as citizens we stand by them. Even if our Chief Minister has not come out and made that statement, we should as citizens make sure that our police officers know that we stand by them. We've run out of time on this show. Aarti, Sathe, you're shaking your head at me, but there has been no statement. There's been no statement in the press, there's been no statement in the public by the Chief Minister himself on this particular subject.
No, he has, I don't know. Chief Minister has taken a very tough stand.
He has met, he has done
Where he has
where
taken
is the tough stand? There's been
Tell me the area where he has
there's
taken
been no
tough
statement
stand.
made in the press. I'm telling you, we have been tracking this story for weeks. There's been no statement made in the press. My appeal to you is to go back and have this conversation with him. Ask him to make a statement. Ask him to come out and stand in support of the policemen who work so hard. 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours. They're on their feet in the sun and in the rain. We have to at least, if anything else, verbally come out and tell them that we support them. That's a wrap on this edition of the Urban Debate. Stay with us as we take you through more civic stories coming in from across the country. But on this channel, I want to repeat one more time that we stand with our policemen. And we will not let these stories sort of be forgotten. We will take them to their logical end. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.